Okay, I want to talk to you about this retro achievements thing.
Oh,
All right.
baby.
So
Okay.
what's going on with this?
Well, first of all, does everyone know what retro achievements are? Out of curiosity.
Okay, good thing. Yeah, go ahead. Explain it so everybody can understand.
For sure. So I think a lot of us are on the same page. We know what like Xbox achievements are, for example, like platinums and PlayStation stuff like that. So retro achievements is specifically a platform for people that want to gain achievements on retro video games. So maybe there's a game that you played on the NES or the SNES back in the day, and you're like, it would be so cool if there was an achievement set that I could do to prove that I was able to do all these challenges in these old games that I have. So that's what retro achievements is specifically. It's like its own little community where they build out achievement sets for things that are not supported, by the modern infrastructure, so to speak.
Okay.
So retro achievements is a beautiful little community that I learned about recently. I've known about it for a while because, I talked to Dude1286 and Nerdy Neo and Reese Kane, and they all love to do retro achievement stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
they've always tried to sell me on it, but I'm someone who's like, achievements are not 100% my thing. But recently I learned about a little game called Pokemon Clover that a lot of people on retro achievements were trying to get a set for. Now, for those of you who are like, what the hell is Pokemon Clover? I don't know what that is. I had to look into it too. Pokemon Clover is a ROM hack for Fire Red, which is the Game Boy Advance Pokemon. And
Okay.
so essentially, you have like a full ROM hack, meaning like you build an entire game out of another game, right? Now, here's the thing. So, a lot of people on the Retro Achievements platform wanted an achievement set for this game, but it's edgy 4chan humor. And there's a lot of people out there that cannot deal with edgy 4chan humor.
Okay.
Like things that people would consider, and I'm not saying I feel this way, I'm saying people would consider these jokes racist or sexist, talking about certain leaders
Okay.
in Germany, for example, and stuff like
Okay.
that. So things that could easily offend people who are very sensitive. It is not for the faint of heart. So somebody volunteered to finally do this achievement set. They finally gave it attention. They're like, okay, we're gonna actually make it happen.
So putting achievements in a hack of a game that
Yes,
it's not even like an official game. It's just like a fun
it's
fan
not.
made project, right?
It's a fan made project that's been going on for quite a while. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's been almost 10 years now. And this game essentially, like on retro achievements, you can get achievements for this and be able to have it displayed on profile. Think like Steam Profile, for example, where you can show badges and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
So, of course, the announcement of the fact that this could be a thing caused a shitstorm because there's a lot of let's say blue sky users that also like to
Oh,
frequent retro achievements. So there's the people that are like obviously on the like free speech side. They're like, whatever, this is cool, great, this game actually plays really well, I just want to enjoy it. And then there's the side that is like, this is hate speech and I don't want this anywhere near this platform and you're ruining my community. So after all of this shitstorm of people talking back and forth, which, guys, I will say this is a very thick story. I'm trying to condense it. If you want
right.
to look into it, you absolutely can find tons of information on this. But I spent like 3 hours on my channel digging. I'm not going to do that here.
Right.
So, there was a lot of back and forth in the community about whether or not it was the right call to essentially have this ROM hack hosted as an achievement set on the website. And eventually, an account called RA Admin, which is the Retro Achievements admin account, had to make a statement as a policy clarification on their code of conduct because of this conversation, which I will read through here. It says, Dear Retro Achievements community, we'd like to make a policy clarification regarding the user code of conduct scope and our stance on content archival. Recent discussions in our community have raised important questions about the scope of our code of conduct and our approach to game content. We want to address these questions publicly so the entire community has clarity on our policies and practices. On the scope of our code of conduct governs user behavior within Retro Achievements, community spaces, how members interact, etc., in all of their stuff. It does not govern the content of games or ROM hacks for which we provide achievement sets. Retro Achievements functions as an archival platform. We provide achievement sets for games and ROM hacks as they exist without curating based on their themes, content, or messages. This includes commercial games, blah, blah, like the whole thing.
Right. It's all, I mean, on the surface, this sounds fine, right?
Yes, exactly. They're saying, and this is from the admin team, right? So this is like the moderators and the administrators. It's a volunteer project for a lot of this. There's a lot of people in the community that just kind of take ownership, right? But here's the main thing, and this is, again, their initial response. Our position on archival versus curation, we recognize the tension between archival preservation and community safety. Different platforms resolve this tension differently. Some curate heavily based on content, while others preserve more broadly. Retro Achievements has chosen a preservation-focused approach, prioritizing archival completeness over content curation. This means we host achievement sets for games and hacks that contain content some community members find deeply offensive.
Okay.
We don't expect everyone to agree with this approach, and we respect that some users may decide that the platform isn't for them based on this policy. We are going to remain transparent, and we're going to keep moving forward. Also, make sure you're respecting people, right? That's the TLDR of this.
Okay.
Now, you're stepping away from this, and you're going, okay, that's a great response, right?
Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, I don't see any problem with this at all.
Yeah, and on the surface, I'm like, okay, awesome. Well, a few hours later, a lot of discussion, as you can see on the bottom of this page, people cheering it on, people saying, what is this? This is hate speech, a lot of arguing, and maybe some alleged death threats that could have happened that we're still trying to sift through all the proof of, which I'm not going to deep dive into. Mm-hmm. Scott, the founder of Retro Achievements, makes his own statement in another article called Clarifying Retro Achievements Goals, which is the second doc you have there.
Yep.
And this is, I guess, in response to a lot of talking behind the scenes, a lot of people in the community speaking up and being upset by their initial response. Again, this is a bit of a thick one, so I'm just going to summarize it where it makes sense, guys. The TLDR, Retro Achievements supports openness and celebrating retro gaming, but we will not provide a platform for games that contain illegal, hateful, or otherwise abhorrent content. Achievement sets for such titles will not be allowed. And remember, this is the founder. So the initial article was made by the admin team. And now we have this statement from the actual founder of Retro Achievements, who is now saying, our goal is to keep Retro Achievements a safe, legal, and welcoming community while celebrating gaming history. He, of course, goes on to talk about Retro Achievements goals, which I won't bore you with too much, but he does say over 13 years, Retro Achievements has taken a neutral stance towards content of games that receive achievement sets. However, the planned release of Pokemon Clover, again, that 4chan ROM hack, has made it clear that neutrality is not enough.
Here it is.
Right? See, here's where we're getting into it. This decision was not made to placate any particular group. When we initially approved Pokemon Clover, we opened dialogue with our community to understand the impact of our policies. Through this dialogue, we quickly realized our view was too narrow. We failed to consider how hosting certain content affects the safety and inclusivity of our community, and for that, we apologize. He backpedaled. He apologized. This policy,
here we go. Hate speech. Yeah, right here.
Hate speech
does
yes.
not belong. That's right.
Even when disguised as a joke, it normalizes real-world hate and harms our community. There's a difference between juvenile humor and outright hate speech. What Pokemon Clover calls humor is hate speech. Retro Achievements will not legitimize bigotry by hosting an achievement on set for it. So, of course...
This is interesting here because yes. I put this into ChatGPT and I had to give me a quick TLDR here real quick. It says, they will not allow achievement sets for games that contain illegal content, glorified hate speech, sexual exploitation, or extreme or abhorrent content. Yes. So does that mean that they'll no longer allow GTA?
Hey, let me get to it. Okay, so of course, right? The discussion while they were still dealing with all of this was like, okay, where is the line? Because people were saying Pokemon Clover shouldn't be on here, right? Where is the line? So do we have no Bully anymore, no GTA, no Manhunt, like all these lists of games that like we think of
Mhm.
right away that offend,
Right.
the wrong people or whatever. Well, here's the thing, and this is where this becomes a big issue. So, this was a ROM hack, meaning it wasn't an official game by any
Hmm.
means, right? This is just a community made thing.
Right.
Not the Retro Achievements community that made Pokemon Clover, a different community. Retro Achievements is supporting, or was, the achievement set. Now, here's the big problem. Craig, I have a feeling you know what this game is. Do you know what Custer's Revenge is?
Yes, from like 1979 or whatever it is, like from the
Yes.
Atari. Yes.
Where you're,
Ridiculous.
you're going to find a native Indian woman and do things to her, right? That's the goal of the game. Well, the following games have been removed under this updated policy. 177, which I didn't hear about before this whole thing, but I looked into it and it was kind of hilarious. And Custer's Revenge, they have now removed a retail games achievement set. So this is not just now achievements for random ROM hacks. They have quite literally taken an achievement set from a game that exists, that was made and sold in retail. And this is where it becomes a huge problem.
Mally, here's Custard's Revenge. I don't know if you're familiar with this at all, but this is the idea that you are Custard over here. And this, you can see the wonderful gameplay here of a man with his wiener out going to have sex with the Indian on the other side. And that is the whole premise of this. You get to the end, and so there you go.
Oh my gosh, to be offended by 8-bit. Oh my god.
Yep.
This is less than 8-bit. This is like 4-bit or
Right?
whatever it is. But
Yeah.
yes.
But to be offended by
Yes.
pixels is literally insane. Like,
Especially in 2600 era, like what are we looking at, really?
Yeah.
Come on. So this is where I start to get bothered by this situation. And I spent a lot of time going through this community and just seeing that this was almost a last vestige of like classic retro gaming communities. Like, I don't know how people in the audience feel, but for me, I grew up on gaming forums. I love that stuff, right? And this felt like a little piece of home from like 20 years ago that's been lost because everyone is coaching language and you're not allowed to say certain things anymore and whatever. So it felt really sad to see this kind of devolve, and now you're dealing with this where Custer's Revenge has been pulled. Now, some people might argue, well, like, who cares or whatever. Here's the problem. So Custer's Revenge was a achievement set before on there. Here's the thing that made me furious. What happens to achievements and points I earned on removed sets? The achievements, points, and badges have been removed. We understand this is disappointing for players who earn them, but consistency with our updated policy requires this action. Now, if anyone has ever in their life tried to do a goal in video games, like, in Mario or anything, where it's taken you hours and hours and hours and you finally hit it and you get this rush of excitement, imagine if one day that badge that said you did it is gone, because in culture, we find that game offensive now. Something that you achieved 5-10 years ago can be removed because now it's offensive.
Well, here we are.
And
this tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
By the way, but this is so silly. So silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they've locked off these 2 hacks over here.
Mm-hmm.
The guy game is technically an illegal game. It had a minor in it showing off her boobs, right?
Oh. Okay.
I don't even know what these are. Lolita syndrome and my Lolita.
I'm assuming you're getting into like young girl type stuff. I mean, I didn't look too deeply into that because I just, I didn't know what I was looking at, so I didn't really want to look at it.
Yeah, okay.
But it's again, at the end of the day, you're now removing retail sets. How am I supposed to have confidence if I'm somebody who uses retro achievements that you're not going to decide that I can't have that on my page anymore, because it's a point accumulation as well. So you're removing points from people, and there's like a scoreboard for that. You're removing the badges that say they did it. You're like,
okay,
it's
this is where I'm really bothered by this. And Mally, maybe you can kind of further this a little bit. But he says the new policy is not intended to censor gaming history, but to balance celebrating games with maintaining a respectful, and here's the key word, safe community, right?
Yep.
This it's all built around the guise of safety, and it's like, hey, listen, by you not like, I just want to like go back to this. By us not allowing achievements on these incredibly fringe, unlicensed hack games and Custard's Revenge from the Atari 2600, we are creating a safe community because someone's going to go crazy and hurt somebody because there's achievements for Pokemon Periwinkle over here.
Gosh.
I feel like we've rode this bike before many times, and it's all about safety. And now the retro gaming community is around it. Mally?
Yeah, I mean, isn't it like literally an age-old argument of, and you guys were just talking about it, I feel like recently on the show, but just like, video games cause real-world violence. It's like, no, rhetorics do that, not video games. I promise you, you are far more likely to get somebody who's going to cause something bad after watching an episode of CNN or, you know, a broadcast of CNN than they are after playing any of these video games. I do not understand the thought process behind banning them too, because I always reference the, you know, those who do not learn from history are bound to repeat it. I mean, why would you erase it when you're just making it now more inevitable that it's going to be brought back up in the future, that it's going to be, you know, I often reference the prohibition. It's like, you're going to take things away from people. They're going to look for it more. They're going to create it more. They're going to make it more secretive. They're just going to hide it. They're going to, you know, make it harder to get to, but still reachable. Like, people are going to do what they want in every aspect of life. They're going to do what they want. So anybody who's trying to, oh, you want to keep it more safe? No, you don't. You just want to control people because it hurts your little feelings. But nothing about this is more safe. Nobody's more safe because you removed as somebody pointed out and you said, 4-bit. It wasn't even 8-bit. 4-bit genitals. Nobody's more safe because you removed 4-bit genitals. Okay, like, you just lost fans. There's nothing. I don't even understand the verbiage they use. They don't even understand the verbiage that they use. They just say trigger words and things that they know rile people up. Like, oh, you're more safe. Oh, well, then automatically I must want that. I must want to be more safe. Nobody has critical thinking skills. Because I wouldn't have even glanced at this. This isn't just my forte of news. But
Right.
because you explained it, Kay, I'm like, wait, what the actual fuck? A 4-bit game is you were now more safe because we can't get achievements in a 4-bit game. What? No one thinks that.
And when
No
you
one
say
thinks
that, when you say that out loud, does that not just sound like the most ridiculous thing? We're now more safe because there's no game achievements for Custard's Revenge.
Right? Yeah, that when you lay out the sentence, people will actually hear it, but that's not how they do it. They want to mask it behind this wall of frequently asked questions in a very proper tone to make it seem like your safety is their number one concern. I don't need a safety concern from a fucking video game achievement company, okay? Hell, I've even said it, it's in my intro and my streams. I don't even want a safety warning on fucking fish hooks. That's called natural selection. If you don't know how to act around things and properly, you know, behave. I am so vehemently against safety warnings because I believe that you should find out for yourself. Fuck around and find out is a great way to live your life. What the fuck? What am I being kept safe for from this? Absolutely nothing. It's
Nothing.
Just
What are
Big
you
Brother.
being? You're not being kept safe from anything. This is just a act in control, in my opinion. And, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there who use retro achievements. Again, I just personally wouldn't have a lot of faith in it. So they're apparently debating on what to do behind the scenes. I don't think it's worth getting into that mess because it's still an ongoing story. But just know that this is my most downvoted video ever on YouTube. People are furious at me just for opening the gates to this and talking about it. Everyone is so heated, and people who are on my side but just find me too politically aggressive are also very mad at me as well. So it's just been like this weird rabbit hole. I hope for the best for everyone that is on retro achievements, that you guys get to preserve all the achievements you do. I know some of you invested in this since you were like in high school and college, and you've had like kids since then, and you want to go back and reflect on your achievements. It sucks that they're doing this to you, and I hope that they resolve it properly, like with whatever they want to do, by adding like maybe a filter to block out things, to be like, okay, you can opt in to see the adult content if it's so scary scary, like stuff like that, right? But I'm personally a firm believer in alternatives. You know, mod communities are way more popular than this, for example. And Nexus Mods has a lot of competition now. And I am all for giving competition to these people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the idea of having retro achievements is really great.
Yeah.
I think it's people have been like, man, you guys gotta check this out, and I did. It was super fun. I mean, I don't think I would, whether or not I'd use it again or not, I don't know. But I just think, like, once again, just say that statement. We are now safer because Pokemon Clover doesn't have achievements in it. What? Like, everything about nothing about that screams common sense at all.
No.
You know, I have another idea. Maybe don't play Pokemon Clover, period, if you're going to be offended by it and edgy humor and shit. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you
All right.
guys. You know,
No, but it's the same concept that, I mean, I tell people all the time in my comments, if you don't like what I'm saying, fucking scroll. The internet is free. You do not have to play these games. You don't have to put yourself in a position to be uncomfortable, but you definitely don't have the right to just take over and ruin it for everybody else just because you got your butt hurt. Like, there's nothing definitively wrong about that. You're just a pussy.
There you go. Let them know, Mally. Let them know.
tell them
all
off.
right,
They're gonna also get mad at you.
Good. Bring it, bitches.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm like, you can get mad at me. I'm trying to help your niche community.
Yeah. I want to make it clear too. I think I'm, because you mentioned that one of them was actually like a legal thing. It had a minor. I am against that. I do not like that. I am fully against it. There is a legal thing, and that is just definitively inappropriate. But Pokemon? Fuck off. Fuck off.
Yep. Your dad said you should hit the subscribe button. Don't disappoint dad.